As Nigeria joined the rest of the world to celebrate this year World Food Day, quite a number of expectation coming from Nigerians with what is happening with the issue of poverty, the issue of food insecurity, quite a lot of expectation the Nigerians are having on the president as he also hold the fake meeting today, hoping the fact that he's going to touch on the issue of economy and also be looking at what Serap have to say to the National Assembly regarding regulating social media. The program is Nigerian Now. I am Sela Elisha Dashim and I'll be doing the program alongside Rachel Tenze. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How was weekend?
It was fine. How was yours?
It was great. You look great this morning.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, let's go quick into the issues that we'll be deliberating. Please do remember we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can follow us live there. Drop your comment on any of the issues we will be dropping, and we hope to see recommendation also as Nigeria can become a better country. Now we'll be starting with the World Food Day because every 16th of October we see that internationally almost about over 150 countries celebrate the World Food Day. And it is imperative that we look at this issue of the World Food Day because a number of years right now, let's take it back to the 1980s. That was when the UN felt that there was a need to actually look at this topic or look at this theme, World Food Day, where a lot of people can see how can food be provided, even though for this year the theme is water is life, water is food, leave no one behind. But a lot of Nigerians are saying what we are actually facing right now is beyond water. Of course, we cannot overrate the fact that or overrule the fact that water is important because water is life. But then looking at the issue, especially in our country, where after the removal of fuel subsidy, a lot of Nigerians, there is inflation prices, food prices. You cannot even attempt to even touch any commodity right now. Just the price alone will get you scared. And I think it is important that we have the attention of the government. And when I say the government, starting from the federal level down to the local government, what is each of these legislative or executive, doing in their own level to make sure that food is available? We remember Efe Babalola said about 2 weeks back the importance of empowering farmers to have all the machineries, fertilizer, and everything that is needed for them to be able to produce food, because we've seen that a lot of reports have come in about the number of Nigerians that will actually be moved into poverty lane if something is not being done. And then with looking at the issue we're having in the country, inflation, insecurity, climate change, just recently NEMA keeps sending report the fact that people need to live where they are staying. But then when they live, how about the crops that they planted? Quite a number of expectation, or quite a number of fear on the minds of Nigerians. So looking at all of this issue, especially, it is imperative that we talk about the issue of the World Food Day.
Sele, it's easy for Nigerians to say something like we don't need water, looking at the theme water is life, but then you see without water we don't have food, Sele. And then when you look at it, the thing about climate change is what it is. Climate change, we might be faced now with the problem of flooding. Trust me, a few decades from now, it will no longer be the problem of flooding. It might be the issue of drought. Looking at the ecosystem activities and all of the factors, when it comes to climate change, flood might be the current threat to the climate as it is now. In the nearest future, we might be looking at drought. And the reason why water is life is that it's high time government make use of what they have. Now we talk about flooding. Why are we not creating channels for our water? Why are we not creating water reserves? Because now we have the excess of water. So why are we not trying to take advantage of this excess water and store it, as we know that it can later on be used for irrigation, farming. We know that later on it can be channeled back to the rivers and every other places that those water are needed and all of that. So yes, I'd like the team, let's try to look at it from this angle as Nigerians, because without water there's no food, whatever, be it the food that comes from sea, be it the food from land, we need this water. So and we are a little bit backward in our technological advancement in this country, but then we can still do little to be able to reserve this water for when there is no water. We should be able to still have water for agriculture and so on. And then looking at World Food Day in general, is that there are a lot of people without food seller, and we can see the stats, we can see the number, how Nigeria is also part of those countries struggling with hunger and food insecurity. Now, until we have a system, that I keep saying this because no matter how much seller, no matter how big I decide to farm, no matter how large I decide to go into agriculture, I believe it's only the government that have the resources to be able to either invest into what I'm doing or create their own agricultural scheme enough to be able to cater for millions of people, because there's only how far a private individual can go. There's only how far a private company can go in providing the needs for people. So this is the time where the government needs to wake up. And then it's really sad to see programs like the Anchor Borrowers program not living to its full potential, because if you look at the reason to why the past administration it's a very good one, is funding agricultural commodities that we as a country are into importing to be able to reduce our importation bill, so that within a period of time we will be able to see some balance in our trade, most especially when it comes to agricultural commodities. However, for some reason this program didn't function as it should be, and whether we like it or not, one of the factors we have in the far north is the fact that insecurity have played a vital role for these farmers, because we've had situations where there was like a massacre on rice farms for farmers. Yes, exactly. And then these are but the few that made it to the paper. What about the many that was not recorded? And we don't know how far this insecurity disrupted farmers from being able to produce and remit this money as they should. So yes, one of the major ways for us to tackle food security in this country, Sele, you keep emphasizing it, is security, because no matter how much the government pump into the economy, if we have farmers being killed on the farm, if we have the people that have gone to borrow this money not being able to farm it, then we are going to see crash in the system. And of course, it's the mechanized farming, Sele, where we don't need much to produce much. With little we have much, and if we're able to step up our game in agriculture, I believe that we will not be in the position or counted among those with acute hunger. But then until the needful is being done, I keep saying the government of Nigeria know exactly what to do. The question is, are they ready and willing to put up with the work and to do it diligently to the end, to where we are having food security in the country?
Rachel, because looking at what is happening, a lot of farmers, during interviews concerning the World Food Day for today, interacting with them, a lot of them say the fact that they are trying their best to actually farm, but it's either we're having one diseases destroying their crops, or weeds that they are unable to, control, doing away, and then for you to go harvest, and then you harvest a little. Right now it's August, September, a lot of harvest is supposed to be done, but it will shock you at the number of produce that Nigerians will be able to get from their farms. And just like we keep emphasizing, the government needs to do something about securing the lives of farmers. If you take a statistics right now, looking at mechanized farming and human farming, you realize that we are just practicing 1% of mechanized farming. That is to say, about 99% farming is being done by the human power. So that is to say that the government needs to wake up. Yes, we remember part of the way to actually caution the issue of the palliative the president started was by sending fertilizer, food grain for dry farming irrigation. But then how many farmers have been able to access these fertilizers? How many farmers have been able to access improved seeds for them to plant? Because we are blessed with a very beautiful weather, Rachel, whether we like it or not, that when you plant any seed, believe you me, we have parts of Nigeria that all it needs is just for you to plant, and then we have a very good harvest eventually. But with all that is happening, of course, a lot of people cannot even, be able to go into farming and brag and say, yes, I am a farmer, because I can actually produce a lot. So I think this have a lot to do with the government, just like we say, Nigerians feel that, because if you talk to any layman, right, and telling him that water is life, one thing he believes that when I have food, forgetting the fact that you cannot have the food without the water that will actually, help you in all that we do. So our fingers are crossed as we celebrate, join the rest of the world to celebrate the World Food Day. We hope that we'll have the Minister of Agriculture doing something about it. We hope that part of the thing that the president will talk about during the FEC will also be on agriculture. Now that takes us to the issue of the president having a FEC meeting today, which is supposed to start like around 12 p.m. today. And then the president is meant to address key things. I mean, part of the things that people are speculating he might be talking about is the economy, because looking at the things that are happening, there is a need for revisiting the issue of the economy. Right now, we remember last week we saw how much a kg of gas is. You'll be buying a kg at 1.2, so that is to say by December we saw that speculations that you might be buying 12 kg at around 12,000, 13,000 naira if care is not taken. How about food prices? The prices are going up and up every day. Today we are seeing that possibilities might be that the CBN governor might actually reverse the policy of having the naira redesigned. So quite a number of things, and a lot of Nigerians are expecting that with this second meeting, because this is the second meeting he will be having with the ministers, and also having 3 extra ministers to his cabinet, making about 48 or so. A lot of things Nigerians are expecting the president to talk. So as our fingers are crossed, we are hoping that there are key things the president need to talk about at a time where our economy seems to be upside down, or we really don't even know where we are heading as a nation economically. Right now, last week, you remember on Friday or so, where we saw where the CBN governor took the initiative to remove ban on about 43 items. That makes Nigeria to still be importing more than we export. So quite a number of mixed reaction and expectation coming from Nigerians as the president hold the FEC meeting today.
The more we see things unfold in Nigeria, it just keeps showing us that we have administration after administration making economic policies that haven't been favorable. Either they are very good but wrongly implemented, because now that we are having this ban of these 43 items, these are literally the items that the anchor borrower loan was going to support production of. And how would you release billions of naira into your system and not create a template that will function? And this is where you see mishandling of funds from the federal government of Nigeria. And we can remove this present administration from it and just look past the previous administration and the administration before it. You're sinking in billions into the economy without the template to make it achieve its goal. If it's meant to reduce the 1 trillion naira importation bill, and then we are having it fail to the extent of now removing the ban on those products that this program was supposed to help to be able to reduce the bill, then it shows failure. Regardless, wherever the problem lies, where it's coming from, it shows failure in implementing a program the way it should be, in as much as it is good. When you look at what it was designed to do or created to do, it is good on every level. But then we are still seeing that the government have failed to make it achieve what it's supposed to achieve. And then when you see the back and forth in some of the economic policy, I'm just hoping that these are all the things that this meeting will cover and what they will look into. If you decide to float your currency in pursuit of unification of your currency, and you leave it to the importer and exporter window, there was no reason for you whatsoever bringing back Bureau de change. There was no need for the parallel market, because if you look at where the INE exchange window is, INE window is right now, is not far from where the currency was before the floating. Now, where we are having this outrageous exchange rate is at the black market. And let's not forget that it's the same importers and exporters go to the black market, the parallel market, for exchange. And we are having an INE window for our exchange. And then you just wonder why is there this so much mix up in the policies that the government is bringing? And therefore, whether we like it or not, we will continue to see inflation. We will continue to see our petrol landing costs going high, therefore the fuel pump price going high. And I just hope that these are some of the key major things that will be looked into in this meeting, alongside insecurity, because we saw it this morning where 59 students that have been abducted are still in captivity in Zamfara state. And this is just Zamfara state. We know how kidnapping has been going on in Benue state, in Nasarawa state, here on the plateau in Taraba. We know how kidnapping is spread across Nigeria. So I just hope that we see results concerning this meeting, policies that the government are willing to implement rightly and keep seeing it through. And where there is a review, you review it and then fix it and keep going.
Couldn't help but just take my mind across so many things that are happening. We saw what manufacturers are saying. A lot of businesses are shutting down. Medium and small enterprises can no longer thrive because the environment is not even favorable for them anymore. I'm going to look at the inflation. Inflation for September is about 25.8%. We keep going high and high, and we cannot really tell what the inflation will be by the end of the year. So quite a number of things that the president needs to visit. Of course, we know that there are a number of people that will be there apart from the ministers. We have the SGF and many other people that will be there. And this meeting is supposed to be like compromising some of the major things that Nigerians are actually, hoping for. We saw the last meeting where he told the minister that they are ministers for the entire nation, not ministers for their own state or their tribe or their religion. So we hope that beyond any sentiment, beyond being biased, we hope that we'll see them making, some policies that will actually, be able to take Nigeria further. I keep saying whenever we need to look at our interest rate, our exchange rate, and also look at the inflation rate. I do not know what the government is more concentrating on. Are they concentrating on the interest rate where we have more the CBN trying to see how they can increase? Or are we looking at the inflation rate that is going? Or are we going to look at our exchange rate? Right now, a dollar is 1,500 or 1,015 naira, sorry. So quite a number of things I just hope that this government will be able to handle. So we hope that after the meeting is done, we hope we'll hear positive, implementations coming in, positive policies that can move Nigeria further, as well as we're having the vice president going to China to represent us. We hope that whatever he is going to take from that meeting in China, he'll be able to bring it back home, and then we'll see how we can implement it. Let's not have a policy that will be implemented and then eventually we don't have the agency or the body to make sure that all of these policies are being followed to the latter. Now, I'd like us to close the show looking at the issue of what SERAP is actually urging the National Assembly to, stop the issue of social media regulation. And I think this came up on Sunday where we saw them saying the fact that NBC, that's talking about National Broadcasting Commission, said the fact that social media is a monster. And SERAP is feeling that right now what the country needs is not you concentrating on social media. There are a lot of things that need your attention, just like we have mentioned the issue of inflation presently. Fuel is scarce. Queues are resurfacing again. How much is the price of 1 liter, right? 700, 650. It determines where you're buying the petrol for. So quite a number of things when you look at what Nigerians are going through. And Sarah feels that social media should be the last that the National Assembly should look into.
I mean, Sarah, okay. The social media is anything. It's many things. But it's definitely not a monster, Sarah. It's just like every other thing that has a good and bad side. It's just like every other administration in Nigeria that have a good and a bad side. It's just like any other thing. And then, of course, not a monster. And that is really a harsh word for social media. We're not going to neglect the fact that it has its own negative side of it. But then it's nowhere close to it, because what the Nigerian government have failed to understand is that a lot of Nigerians are employed because of social media. A lot of Nigerians are generating revenue because of social media. We are not even making as much money as people in America, Europe, Asia are when it comes to social media, because they have embraced it to its full potential compared to what Nigerians, we are not even tapping to what social media has to offer to Nigerians when it comes to revenue. People are making sales because of social media. People are in jobs because of social media. What I see happening in other countries is that they regulate. If there are content that you are not okay with, you ban that content in your country. If there's any trend you're not okay with, you ban it in your country. If there's any message you're not okay with, you ban that. And it has, because social media on its own are regulated. On your own, seller, if you misbehave on Twitter, Twitter will ban you.
Of course.
The same thing when you misbehave on Facebook, they will ban you. But what I see other countries that have people making billions of naira through social media is just wait for something. If it doesn't align with you as a country, you stop your people from having access to it. And it's as simple as that, but not making it a priority amidst the hundreds of problems we are facing in Nigeria. It should be by the way. It should be what comes and go. If there is a recent trend in social media or a product or anything that you don't approve of as a Nigerian government, you can talk to the people from the social media, the management, the owners, whoever is in charge, and say this is not acceptable in Nigeria, and we move. And we move and we move and we move, but not making social media look like that much of a problem that has to be seen in as a problem, because whether we like it or not, it is the factor contributing to employment rate in Nigeria. No matter how little it is, social media is one of those factors that we have some Nigerians employed.
Lead to social media is contributing immensely in Nigeria. I recall when Twitter, now known as X, was banned from Nigeria, and then the millions Nigerian economy lost because of the ban of Twitter, because a lot of people, their business right now is online. You're selling clothes, it's online. You're selling hair, whatever you need, services anybody need to access, you put it there on social media, and a lot of people have access to it. How about people who are into cryptocurrency? It's online. So how will you expect to actually stop a lot of people from using the social media? To some extent, Nigerians will feel that maybe this is a threat to some of our leaders, and that's why they feel that that should be regulated. And that is the way of invading on your own fundamental human rights, because you have a right to express yourself. Maybe over the year we've seen that a lot of leaders, during their, maybe when they have been screened or something, we go back to check what did you post at one time or the other. We're going to take, for example, the issue of Kiyamu, what he posted during the Buhari's regime about what forgery of result is, and what he said presently. A lot of Nigeria had to go back, date, and see what you said about this. So just like you said, it's too much of a big word to use to say that social media is a monster. And if the government feel that there's something that is not aligning with what they believe in, you just put it out there, you ban that other thing, but not to make it look as if it's a big issue. I mean, let's concentrate on inflation. Let's concentrate on making sure there is food on everybody's table. Let's concentrate on the fact that we are being looked as a very good country outside there. I mean, looking at our poverty rate, 103 out of 121 countries is not a good number. So we hope that this should be the things that the National Assembly should concentrate on, rather than concentrating on other things that will not add up to our economy or add up to the growth of Nigeria eventually. Well, Richard, I think we should hold it here for today, and we hope our viewers will keep a date with us again tomorrow. Thank you so much to our viewers and our supporters for keeping a date with us on Nigerian Now. Until we come here again tomorrow, do have a blessed day ahead.